My name is Fatima. Born into a world where the air I breathed was a poison. A world that seemed unaware of the silent battles fought by its youngest inhabitants. On the day of my birth, the air quality was a grim herald of the struggles to come. Struggles shared not just by me, but by others too young to bear such burdens. In the shadow of this polluted world, my family wrapped me in love. A love that was both a salve and a stark contrast to the harsh reality outside. My early laughter, a sound of innocence and joy, soon became interspersed with the sound of coughing, a chorus I shared with too many children in my city. We were united not by the games we played, but by the medications we took, the doctor's visits that punctuated our childhood, and the shared understanding of living on borrowed air. As I grew, so did the ailments that seemed determined to claim me piece by piece. Each diagnosis was a shock, a blow to the doctors who had never expected to see such conditions in someone so young. First, it was chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, then a heart attack, later a stroke. Each was a word that seemed out of place in the story of a girl barely stepping into womanhood. And then, the diagnosis of lung cancer, a final chapter I had never hoped to write. The medical community, for all their knowledge and skill, found themselves grappling with the reality of what pollution had wrought. They looked at me, and others like me, with a mixture of disbelief and sorrow, acknowledging that we were but the early signs of a crisis they were ill-prepared to face. My life, though filled with moments of beauty and love, was also a testament to loss. Loss of breath, loss of freedom, loss of dreams. And as the end approached, it was with a heart heavy with unspoken words and so many unfulfilled desires. The machines that had once buzzed with the promise of life now sang a somber lullaby, a prelude to silence. The room was quiet, save for the steady beep of the heart monitor, a rhythm that had become as familiar as my own heartbeat. My family stood by, their faces a canvas of pain and love, a silent vigil marking the passing of a life cut too short. Their hands held mine, a lifeline in the darkness, a connection that spoke of shared grief and unwavering support. As the monitor's rhythm began to falter, a profound sadness enveloped us, a sadness that spoke of a life defined by its battles, a young woman who had fought with every breath against an invisible enemy. The finality of the moment was a stark reminder of the fragility of life, of the countless others still fighting for their next breath in a world that seemed indifferent to their plight. And then, silence. The line on the monitor flattened, a silent testament to the end of my journey. A journey that had begun with the hope of innocence and childhood, only to end in the quiet of a hospital room. My life, a cautionary tale of the price of inaction, of the cost of a world that had failed to protect its most vulnerable. In the end, my story is not just a tale of personal tragedy, but a reflection of a much larger crisis, a call to awaken the realities of what we have wrought upon ourselves and our children. It is a plea for change, for a world where the air does not steal the futures of its own young, where the laughter of children is not silenced by the struggle for breath. I am Fatima, a voice among many, a whisper in the wind, urging us to remember, to act before it's too late. Although my story ends here, the fight for clean air, for a future untainted by pollution, must continue. In memory of all the Fatimas, let it not be in vain.